Claire offers Jordan DNA motel evidence of Victoria's murder. Jordan, who will continue to be dubious about Claire Newman's change of heart, will call her, according to the Young and the Restless recap for Tuesday, January 21st. Jordan will make hints about working with an accomplice and imply that if Claire is lying, things might go south for someone she knows. Claire will consent to a follow-up meeting with Jordan and provide Victoria and Nikki Newman with updates prior to her departure. Victoria will worry about how cold and cunning Claire was about planning to kill Jordan once she and Nikki are alone. Victoria and Nikki will both hope that Claire won't be able to carry it out in the end. Nikki will be able to cover, but Victor Newman will appear and feel as though he is being kept in the dark about something. Victor will acknowledge that Ian Ward's possible accomplice looked familiar after he shows the security footage of the person who abducted Sharon Newman. Nikki will begin to wonder if Victor was able to determine whether this individual was a guy or a woman. Nikki will conceal the Jordan truth, but Victor won't be certain and will wonder why she would ask that. Victor will halt on the stairway and maintain his suspicious demeanor after leaving Victoria and Nikki to continue their conversation. Claire will recall reprimanding Jordan during a visit to the prison in the interim. Before they meet up in the park on Tuesday's YNR episode, Claire will make a commitment to never again allow Jordan to control her. When Jordan gives Claire her regular tea order, she will find it difficult to believe her, but Claire will claim it isn't tainted. Claire will also assert that she has always been acting like an outsider in the perspective of the Newmans and that she has been playing them all along. Claire will pretend that she accepted the name change for sinister motives after implying that the Newmans merely intended to create the appearance of acceptance. When her mother suffers a terrible end, Claire will point out that she will receive a substantial inheritance because she is now legally a Newman. Claire will propose to Jordan that they kill Victoria and take the money so they may enjoy a great life together. As Jordan and Claire re-establish their relationship, the Newmans will be left in mourning. Claire will protest that Victoria will never be her mother, but Jordan will cry and question whether Claire would really sacrifice her mother for her. Instead, Claire will emphasize her relationship with Jordan, making her charade appear to win Jordan over. Claire will confess that she persuaded Jordan by saying she was prepared to kill Victoria when she visits Victoria and Nikki at the ranch later. Chance Chancellor will then inform Nick Newman that Sharon's vehicle was captured on security camera at the Riverbank Motel prior to it sinking into the river. Given that Ian has been lodging there, Nick will see this as evidence that he is involved in Sharon's kidnapping. Even though it would appear that Ian has walked out, Chance and Nick will still investigate his motel room. Chance, on the other hand, will point out a lipstick-stained glass and recommend tasting that in addition to the wine bottle on the table. Chance and Nick will then have to wait for a DNA match in the system. Nick will begin searching right away and state that he doesn't care if the motel or visitors sue him, even if Chance will get ready to call regarding a warrant to search the other rooms for Sharon. She will leave quickly because Jordan will later show up at the door and listen in on Chance's phone call on obtaining that search warrant for the Riverbank Motel. According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Claire will keep deceiving Jordan, but as the plot intensifies, our predictions indicate that there will be lots of danger. Claire pitches Jordan on killing Victoria, DNA motel evidence. The latest episode of The Young and the Restless unfolds with a gripping mix of intrigue and deception, leaving viewers at the edge of their seats. On Tuesday, January 21st, the drama intensifies as Claire Newman finds herself entangled in a dangerous web of manipulation, lies, and high-stakes decisions. A call of suspicion. Claire Newman's day takes a sharp turn when her phone rings, displaying Jordan's name. Suspicious and wary, Jordan confronts Claire about her sudden change of heart. The doubt in Jordan's voice is palpable as she hints that an accomplice might be lurking in the shadows, ready to ensure Claire's honesty. The implication is clear: if Claire is lying, someone close to her could pay the price. "We both know how this works, Claire," Jordan warns. "If you're playing me, it won't end well for anyone, especially not for you." Determined to maintain her facade, Claire agrees to meet Jordan face to face. But before heading out, she makes a calculated move by updating both Victoria Newman and Nikki Newman about the plan. Victoria, sensing Claire's cold and calculated demeanor, can't hide her unease. As Claire walks out the door, Nikki and Victoria exchange worried glances. "Do you think she'll actually go through with it?" Victoria asks, her voice trembling slightly. Nikki's response is hesitant but hopeful. "I don't want to believe she's capable of such a thing. Let's hope she proves us right in the end." Victor's growing suspicion. Meanwhile, Victor Newman enters the scene, his sharp instincts on high alert. Noticing the tension between Nikki and Victoria, he demands answers. Nikki, ever the master of deflection, manages to keep Victor at bay. However, the mention of security footage showing Sharon Newman's kidnapping stirs up more questions. Ian Ward might have had an accomplice, Victor reveals, his tone serious. "Something about that person seems familiar, but I can't place it." Nikki, careful not to give too much away, presses for details. "Was it a man or a woman?" she asks casually, though her heart pounds with the weight of Jordan's secret. Victor narrows his eyes. "Why would that matter, Nikki? Do you know something I don't?" Managing to keep her composure, Nikki changes the subject. But as Victor steps out of the room, he pauses on the staircase, suspicion etched across his face. The wheels in his mind are turning, and it's clear he's far from convinced. A dangerous meeting. At the park, Claire meets Jordan with a determined look. Memories of a heated confrontation during a prison visit flash through Claire's mind. She'd vowed never to let Jordan manipulate her again. But now, she must play the role convincingly. Handing over a cup of tea, Claire notes Jordan's hesitation. "Relax," she says with a smirk. "It's not poisoned." Jordan's distress is evident, but Claire presses on. She begins to weave a story, claiming that she's been playing the Newmans all along. "They'll never see me as one of them," Claire says bitterly. "I'm just a tool to keep their family image intact." Claire's words strike a chord with Jordan, who has always harbored resentment toward the Newmans. Feeding into Jordan's emotions, Claire reveals a calculated plan. Now that she's legally a Newman, Claire explains, she stands to inherit a fortune if her mother, Victoria, were to meet a tragic end. "Think about it," Claire says, leaning closer. "The Newmans grieving, you and I walking away with everything. We could finally have the life we dreamed of." Jordan's eyes well up with tears. "Would you really do that? Sacrifice your mother for me?" Claire's response is cold. "Victoria will never truly be my mother. But you? You've always been there for me. This is our chance." The act works. Jordan begins to believe Claire's sincerity, setting the stage for the next phase of Claire's dangerous game. The Riverbank Motel. Back at the Newman Ranch, Claire returns to Victoria and Nikki, revealing that she's gained Jordan's trust. The relief on Nikki's face is fleeting as Victoria voices her concerns. "What if she suspects something?" Victoria asks. "This plan could backfire in ways we can't control." Elsewhere, Chancellor updates Nick Newman on a crucial development. Surveillance footage shows Sharon's car at the Riverbank Motel before it was submerged in the river. Ian Ward, long suspected in Sharon's disappearance, had been staying there. The evidence seems to connect Ian to the crime, but Nick isn't satisfied with circumstantial proof. Arriving at the motel, Chance and Nick search Ian's room. Though Ian appears to have fled, they find a glass with lipstick stains and a half-empty wine bottle. "We'll test for DNA," Chance says confidently. "If we get a match, it could lead us straight to Sharon." But Nick's patience wears thin. Ignoring protocol, he begins searching other rooms without a warrant. If Sharon's in this building, I'm not waiting for red tape, Nick declares, his voice filled with determination. A looming threat. As Chance makes a call about obtaining a warrant, Jordan appears at the motel. Overhearing the conversation, she realizes the walls are closing in. Panicked, she slips away, leaving Nick and Chance unaware of her presence. Back at the ranch, the tension continues to build. Claire's deception has set the stage for a dangerous confrontation, but the true extent of her loyalty remains a mystery. While Victoria and Nikki hope for the best, they can't shake the feeling that something is about to go horribly wrong. Claire pitches Jordan on killing Victoria, DNA motel evidence. The tension in the room was palpable as Claire paced back and forth, her heels clicking on the cold tile floor of the dimly lit motel room. Jordan sat on the edge of the bed, his head in his hands, grappling with the weight of what Claire was proposing. "We don't have a choice, Jordan," Claire said, her voice firm but with an edge of desperation. She stopped pacing and fixed him with an intense stare. "Victoria knows too much. If she goes to the cops, we're done. Everything we've worked for, everything we've risked, will be gone." Jordan lifted his head and met her gaze, his eyes filled with a mix of fear and disbelief. "You're talking about murder, Claire. This isn't just some scheme to cover our tracks. This is crossing a line we can't come back from." Claire folded her arms and exhaled sharply, trying to contain her frustration. "Do you think I don't know that? Do you think this is easy for me? But she has the DNA evidence from the motel. If that gets out, we're finished. The police will connect everything back to us." The DNA evidence. The very thought of it sent a shiver down Jordan's spine. He thought they had covered their tracks perfectly. The robbery had been meticulously planned, every detail accounted for. But Victoria, their supposed ally, had turned against them, and now she held the key to their undoing. "Maybe there's another way," Jordan said, grasping at straws. "We could pay her off. Offer her a cut of the money." Claire shook her head vehemently. "You think she'll stop there? Once she has the money, what's to stop her from demanding more? Or from going to the cops anyway? She's not exactly trustworthy, Jordan. She's a loose cannon, and she's got leverage on us." Jordan rubbed his temples, the pressure of the situation threatening to crush him. "But killing her? It's too much, Claire. I don't even know how we do it." Claire's expression hardened. "We'll figure it out. We don't have to make it look obvious. An accident, maybe. Or we pin it on someone else. But we can't just sit here and hope she doesn't blow everything up." The room fell silent for a moment, the weight of Claire's words settling over them like a heavy fog. Jordan's mind raced with 1,000 thoughts, none of them offering a clear solution. He looked at Claire, who seemed so resolute, so convinced that this was their only option. He couldn't tell if she was being rational or if desperation had clouded her judgment. "Why do you think she kept the DNA evidence?" Jordan asked, breaking the silence. "If she wanted to go to the cops, wouldn't she have done it already?" Claire hesitated, the question catching her off guard. "Maybe she's waiting for the right moment. Or maybe she's using it as insurance. Either way, it's too dangerous to let her hold on to it." Jordan stood up and began pacing himself, trying to think through the situation. "What if we find the evidence and destroy it? If she doesn't have anything to hold over us, she's powerless." Claire frowned. "Do you even know where she's keeping it? And even if we do find it, what makes you think she doesn't have copies?" The conversation spiraled into a tense back and forth, both of them grasping for solutions to a problem that seemed insurmountable. As the hours dragged on, the motel room seemed to grow smaller, the air thicker with tension and dread. Finally, Claire spoke, her voice low and determined. "We're running out of time, Jordan. Victoria isn't going to wait forever. We need to make a decision." Jordan stopped pacing and looked at her, his face pale and his eyes heavy with the weight of what she was asking. "I need to think," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Claire nodded, though her patience was wearing thin. "Think fast," she said, her tone laced with urgency. "Because if we don't act soon, it's all over." As Jordan left the room to clear his head, Claire stood by the window, staring out into the dark, rain-soaked parking lot. She knew the stakes. She knew the risks. And she knew that sometimes, survival meant making impossible choices. But as she waited for Jordan to return, a nagging thought lingered in the back of her mind: was there truly no other way?